Hey everybody, just wanted to make a little video here about what I consider to be practical engineering. What I have here is a pretty common sprinkler. Most people have probably seen this thing. It goes back and forth. Well, I've had some yard work done and I'm trying to get the grass watered. And I go to put this in and it's just spewing out water. I'm like, well, what the heck is going on here? So I look and there's this little plug that's missing. So it's just shooting out water. Okay, so I thought, well, I'll just go buy another one. Sure, I can go buy another one. They're not that expensive. They range from 10 to 30 bucks depending on the quality that you buy. Well, I thought, well, here's a good opportunity to fix something, keep it out of the landfill, fix it. So I then came up with, I thought, well, I'll make a little plug. Just go in there. So it's going to be almost impossible to see, but I'll try. On the outside of the diameter of this tube, there's a little bitty recess on both sides, and I assumed that when they put this plug in, they squeezed it and just crimped it and to help hold this little plug in place. Well, it didn't work. Came out. Okay, so I'm an engineer. I can design stuff, so I'm going to design something. And I'll show you in a minute here how I went about that. All right, so here's the part that I designed. This is actually the second version that I'll talk about a little bit later. I'm using a program called Solid Edge, and it just kind of shows you in detail kind of what's going on here. So there's the main shaft that goes into the tube of that sprinkler, and then there's the little recess I kind of talked about that grabs those indentations. And the flat allows it to pass those indentations, and then as you turn it, then it locks that in place. And anyway, that's just the design file. So there were two iterations I had to do here. Here's the first one. What you can see is, there's just a round shaft that goes inside of the tube. A little flange down here, and that just rests on the inside of the plastic hub, so there's a place to spin, and then of course just a place to grab hold of. But you might want to note that there's a couple little recesses, little features in here, and what those are doing is when you insert this into the tube, I can then rotate it and actually lock it in place. And so then that keeps it from wanting to come out. Now, arguably, I could probably put some glue in there and hold it in place, but this gives a positive mechanical retention to it. All right, so there's, again, item number one. I put it in. It wasn't quite designed right. This little recess right here just wasn't quite in the right spot, wasn't quite big enough. And so then I came up with this one. And I also made the outside a little bigger and put a flat on there so you could actually get a hold of it, because I found that when I put it in, it was hard to kind of get a hold of it. So now you can see that one right there. I've made this little recess here just a little taller. Show you the proof that it actually works here. So here we go. I'm going to do my best. And there you go. It's it's in there. I haven't tried it out yet to make sure that water doesn't spew out of it, but if it does, I'll probably end up putting some silicone caulking or JB Weld CA glue, something like that, just to fully seal it up. Now, if you really want to get fancy, you could redesign this and put a rubber O-ring inside there, and now it's a really elegant solution. I'm not going to go to that effort because it would be some custom size. I don't know what it is, but just working with what I got. Again, the point of this video is to show, a 3D printer is great for making articulated dragons and fidget toys. That's just not what I use it for. I try to use it for practical things that are useful, things that, otherwise I'm going to throw this whole thing away because there's no way I'm going to find this little thing exactly how I want. I can't buy it probably. So to me, a printer, if coupled with knowing how to design things, can really help save a lot of things from either going in the trash or creating something brand new that you have always wanted to create but you couldn't do it before. So for me, 3D printing has opened up a whole world of just interesting possibilities for what you can do. Something else to think about here is what this costs to actually make. From the software that I use, Bamboo Slicer, you can put in how much your filament costs, and then it'll calculate based on how much usage, what your actual material cost is. Now, don't get hung up on just material costs, because you got costs of your printer, your electricity. There's other things that go into it, and actually I'm making a software for that purpose, but that's another video. Each one of these were material costs 13 cents a piece. So, put that together, there's 26 cents. I would double that again just for electricity, blah, blah, blah. So anyway, the fix for this, excluding my time, was, roughly 52 cents. I'd say that's pretty good for something that I would throw away and have to rebuy it for around 20 bucks. So there you go. There's another reason that this makes sense. Not saying that, oh my gosh, I'm going to go save pennies. I'm going to go spend pounds to save pennies. I mean, that's silly. That's not what this is about. I'm not trying to, shave a nickel off of a length of pipe. That's not it at all. I'm just saying this is a practical way of using something that you have as a tool to, make practical things. Anyway, that's it.